everybody, Vic from Vic's Basement Brewcast. How are you all tonight? We are here at the gorgeous Battle River Brewing, downtown Toms River, celebrating an anniversary fairly soon. Actually within the next month or so, maybe even closer by the time this video actually comes out. So welcome everyone. With me again, you know, I had an able-bodied replacement last time when we were at Ship Bottom in the immortal Mr. John Cashew. So with me again, Richard, you here? Hey Richard.
Hi, kind sir, how are you?
Did you miss me?
I did. It's been a minute.
You missed my shark story and everything like that.
I missed the shark story.
I'll have to tell it to you some other time. So again, we're here at Battle River, and we are here with two of my favorite guys in the brewing industry. We have Ian Bartlett, who is the head brewer there, a member of Ocean County Home Brewers Association, and a soon-to-be new daddy. Congratulations, Ian. Congratulations. It's like my little boys are growing up.
I blame the beer.
And also with us is one of the owners of Battle River, Gary Morrison. Gary?
Vic, thanks for having us again.
Hey, thank you guys for being here tonight. A little bit of news, something I just want to get your guys' take on it. I saw an ad came out, Coors Light has an organic light lager coming out now.
Yeah.
I don't know, have you guys heard about that?
I've heard about it. It's you know, the marketing pitch and the use of words to sell things. I mean, it's what grows out of the ground is organic. So I mean, don't shoot the messenger. But as long as you're buying crops from a farmer, it's organic. I mean,
yeah, it's always good marketing, right?
It's organic. It's a 3.8% lager. So. I just wanted.
I'll keep my eye out.
I just wanted to get your quick take on that. Yeah. So again, Battle River, almost a year here. I've actually been very acquainted with Battle River right from the beginning. I have an office right across the street, so I've been here from the beginning. Actually, I've been here. I met with Gary and Ray actually before. Before Ian was actually here on board. This used to be a restaurant here called the River Market.
Yep.
Really good restaurant.
Excellent.
They really had great food. But the building, it's, how old is it? Like 180, 200 years old?
170.
Yeah, we can't find the exact time, but I mean, it's over 150 years.
And the reconstruction that you guys did with this is absolutely phenomenal.
I'm actually in touch with the Ocean County Historical Society.
Okay.
And because we're a downtown business, they're going to give us prints for like $5. So whatever they have on file at the Historical Society, we're actually able to frame and post up on the walls, which we're doing soon. But this will give us a little bit more frame of reference of what all of this used to look like. You know, circa whatever.
Great.
Horse and buggy.
Now, those of you who watch the show and listen to the show actually when we were on audio, you know, Ian's voice may sound familiar. Is it because Ian's actually like, I guess like the Steve Martin from Saturday Night Live. Because he's actually been on the show probably more than anyone else, because you made guest appearances with Manna Firkin a few times when we were doing it from the basement, audio-wise.
I think the first one was at Ship Bottom,
Ship Bottom.
I remember that.
Popped on here a long time ago. We did audio from Ship Bottom. But Ian also is, those of you familiar with our South Jersey Beer Scene YouTube channel, may be familiar with making beer cocktails, which Ian was on and did the Michelada and the Mojito on with us. So, and that's something that they have here. So, you know, we'll get a little more into that. You see, we got some beers here. So, Gary, talk about the evolution, how you know, the process you went through to get this building and open it up. And right now, actually, I'll tell everyone, we're sitting in a beautiful beer garden, which is out back. And, you know, Battle River is one of the few, it has two entrances. One is from Main Street in Toms River, on the other side of this building here. And this actually faces Washington Street, which is one of the main drags. The county courthouse is down the block. Really a beautiful beer garden out there. It's enclosed, it's covered. We have the heat lamps here for the winter time to keep it open. So Gary, talk a little bit about the evolution of this particular place.
Yeah, so I mean, the River Market was here before. I used to frequent it. The food was excellent. When this building did go for sale, it was sitting for about 3 to 4 years. And so when the partners and I decided that we're going to open a brewery, we wanted to be downtown. We certainly wanted to look at this building. The brick walls inside probably sold it, but the second best feature was this outside patio. And obviously the evolution of the building includes out here. I mean, it was very old. The old owners didn't really do much to the inside, as you know. The food was excellent. The ambiance probably was a little bit lacking. We really wanted to restore the building but keep that historic look, and I think the brick walls really did it. But we knew that we wanted to bring people together to a place where they can enjoy great beer, enjoy great times, and enjoy great friends. And I think the patio, really sells that to a lot of people. I mean, this patio is pretty much packed every weekend, with groups of people and just enjoying themselves and enjoying their friends. So,
especially during the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when we had no indoor seating or limited capacity, this was a lifeline. But also, the town of Toms River provided us with Washington Street, like you said, one of our, patio facing Washington Street. It allowed us to have a downtown night out on Friday and Saturday nights where they closed Washington Street, and we are extended into that, that area. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, without that, I think it would have been a struggle to open up right in the middle of the pandemic. The end of August, early September.
And I always enjoy hearing how the breweries and other businesses can bring the downtown alive. I mean, I've worked down here for 25 years, and this was dead over here. Mm-hmm. This was dead, but it really brings we've been here for the Friday night out in Toms River. Not only have the Battle River here, we have Garden State Distillery here, the restaurants, some great restaurants. We have Capone's here, Crave. A lot of restaurants actually participate and work with you all on those events.
It's great. I mean, I think the revitalization of any downtown focuses on a brewery. So that's kind of the research that we did, and that's why when they talked about doing the waterfront, doing the multiple condo units down in downtown Toms River, we wanted to be down here. And again, I'm a Toms River guy. I grew up in Toms River. I went to school here. Vic, like you said, I mean, it's been dead for 30, 35 years down here, but this used to be the epicenter of anything. I mean, all our parties as kids were at Tommy's.
This is
restaurant right down the street.
This is the original place where people went to go get their goods.
Yeah.
So,
Tommy's was down the street
down
here.
the street.
Big, banquet hall, restaurant. If any business in Toms River was going to have some kind of event, etc., they had it at Tommy's.
Yeah.
Big banquet hall, etc. So really, the evolution is great, and I love to see that when the breweries help bring the towns back together. So,
Vic, as you know, and you guys have been to how many breweries? I can only imagine.
I've only been to 3.
So, the things that the breweries do for themselves are great. They're fantastic, but it's all they can do for themselves. It's nice when you have neighbors and stuff like that, where you actually become this you have this symbiotic relationship between all these businesses, where it's not like you're the lifeblood. It's all of it. When someone comes down here, there's ice cream, there's cupcakes, there's cheeseburgers, there's pizza, there's craft cocktails, there's beer, whatever.
There's healthy food around
Well,
here,
I mean, there's axe throwing. There's.
I'm sorry. Can we circle back? Did you say there was ice cream?
There is ice cream.
Oh, good.
His good buddy's got an ice cream thing going. Yeah.
Hot dog.
So really an amazing job down here. Let's talk a little bit about the beers and the brewing process. Gary, I know that when you first, opened the place, what did you envision as what you would offer as a brewery?
So I think, not coming from a brewing background, we came from a business background, and we wanted to offer a variety of different beers and things for everyone. We didn't want to exclude a specific demographic. We wanted to have everyone come down here. So if you had a group of friends and they're looking to go out, you wanted to have something for everyone. You didn't want them to say, hey, we're not going downtown because I don't drink XYZ beer, I don't drink IPAs, I don't drink this, I don't drink that. So I think it was really about the variety and appealing to everyone so that they can come down here and have some fun.
Now, let's talk about some of the beers. We got a couple of flights here. that we're here. Thank you so much for bringing this out for us. Now, this first one here is very interesting. So Ian, tell us about this first beer that Richard and I are drinking.
You guys are looking extremely parched. Please dive in. So this one is one of our experimental beers. There's no BJCP category for it yet. In the book, The Dark Tower, that Stephen King wrote, it's called a Graph. So it's like a beer cider hybrid. But with our license that we have, we cannot brew cider. We can only brew beer. So this is 60-something% beer and 30 to 40% cider.
This is
fresh
crisp.
press from an orchard. And the beer base is extremely light. The hop base is extremely light. But like I said, it is primarily beer, but it tastes like a cider. And it's not back sweet. It's not your Angry Orchard. It's not no knocking on them. It's just
It's clean, crisp, dry.
Yeah.
It really is. It's nice. It kind of looks like a cider.
You know that
actually,
New
if you
Jersey
look at it.
has the best apples in the world.
Yeah.
So we had to make a beer with some of the
Yeah.
best orchard,
for-
hand-picked apples.
the festival we were just at was at Manahopkin.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. We brought a keg of this to Manahopkin and we kicked it in 3 hours.
Yeah. Excellent. Really nice, fresh, crisp, and dry too.
It's very light.
dry.
It's a day drinking beer. That's
Dry
why I brought
light,
it.
definitely. I want to talk a little bit. We'll get back to some of these other beers after our break, but I want to talk a little bit about the difficulties in construction here. You know, I know the floors weren't the best. I remember I was in here before you opened, and I remember a big hole in the floor. Came over to see Ian, and Ian was dropping the fermenters on a hand crane to the bottom floor. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you some video of what that looked like then, and Ian's going to take us on a quick tour of the basement, maybe talk a little bit about some of the barrel-aged beers you have, as well as show you the fermenters that were dropped down. So we're going to take a little break here to show you that video. Plus, we're going to hear from our friends at BruYou, which will help you buy a beer for someone else at a brewery. So we will be right back.
BruYou is the app to send and receive drinks. Buying a drink with BruYou is easy. First, select a recipient, choose the location, and then pick a drink from their menu and send it out. It's easy to stay connected with the people you care about with BruYou. Whether it's a birthday or promotion, or just because, sending a drink with BruYou is great for any occasion. When someone buys you a drink, you'll receive a notification with the details, and the drink will be stored in the app until you redeem it. When you're ready to redeem a drink, follow the prompts and show the bartender the confirmation screen. Once your drink is received, close it out on the app and say thanks. Then, cheers! You just received your first drink on BruYou. Available for download on the App Store and Google Play Store.
Okay, this is where we have our bourbon barrel aged product. To our left, your right, I guess, this is our American Strong Ale. And on the other side, this is our Belgian Quad. The one that's already missing is our powder keg. It's a bourbon barrel aged chocolate, peanut butter, banana, Imperial Stout. All this stuff comes from different regions. These ones specifically are High West barrels, and these will mature anywhere between 6 to a year in months. So 6 months to a year, sorry.
Hey everybody, we are back here with Ian and Gary from Battle River Brewing. Now we're going through the flight that we have there. We had the Graph first, which was terrific. Now we got a very nice, interesting beer here. This is this is a New Zealand Pilsner. Now it's called New Zealand, Ian, because of the hops that are in it.
It's, well, I mean, there's a category for it, BJCP X5.
Yeah.
So it has like a, kind of like a standard for ingredients and body and taste and aroma. It's, I don't know how they came about it in New Zealand, but yes. All
Now-
New Zealand hops and pale
No,
ale type
no.
base, but it's lager yeast.
We talked about this a little while ago. Now, one of the New Zealand hops is, as a brewer, one of my favorite hops. I know Ian and I worked on a blonde recipe, and I told him one thing: it's got to have Nelson Sauvin hops in it. And what else is in this aside from that? And maybe you talk a little bit about the hops.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would have to check the recipe, but I do know there's like simple New Zealand hops such as like Motueka or Waihiti and a few others.
Those are
Placement in the recipe is a little undisclosed of where they're put, but it's nice because it's you want it to be a pilsner, drinkable like a pilsner, a light beer.
But
That's the same guy that was here before, guy.
Station break for the motorcycle.
So it has to be light. It's an in-betweener. So for people that don't like IPAs and someone who wants to drink a light beer like a pilsner, it really does hit that middle mark between light body and like that real dry hop flavor and aroma, but without the bitterness and without the big beer body.
Yeah. Really, really very nice beer. You can see a little bit hazy, which is right in the description of the New Zealand Pilsner. Really nice, and a lot of the hops are coming from New Zealand. I know that the vast majority come from like Northwest.
100% of the ones that are in that are from New
These
Zealand.
are from New Zealand. Really, really very, very nice, crisp summer beer.
Thank you.
Nice cold weather beer. Excellent, excellent. I had this several times at the Manahopkin, which is the beer festival that was just this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Which we had a great time. So just a little plug for Manahopkin. They did ask us at South Jersey Beer Scene to help arrange for the judging. So we had a great panel of judges at that event. So great event. So be on the lookout next year because we got a lot of beer festivals going on. Atlantic City was back in June. We had Manahopkin in August, Summer Schwelter in August. So glad to see some of these festivals are coming back. Hopefully we can keep it. Hopefully we can keep it that way. So really nice. And Ian, tell us about this last beer we have here. It is beautiful. Really a nice beer. I think I've been drinking it since I got here.
So this one brings the home brewer out of me. This one I got a little brave. A lot of people don't really play in this this painted area. This is a Kvik.
Okay.
This is a Norwegian Kvik beer, which has a decent amount of the correct hops in it to accent the blueberry that we put in there. So there's some blueberry puree. This is going to be our Blue Coat Blueberry. This is a Norwegian Kvik ale, but it has hops play off the fruit, and everything plays off the yeast. But this is something actually the yeast manufacturer reached out to me to see how the beer actually turned out when I was done, because we're commercial.
Right.
So they were very interested because they're trying to reach out to commercial markets, and a lot of other commercial breweries, they're not willing to risk experimentation on tens of thousands of dollars worth of products.
Right.
So
Is it because they think people just don't know what it is, so they won't drink it? Because that's delightful.
No, I think a lot of large microbreweries, I can't even say micro, I say craft. Let's say large craft breweries will not play in this area because of the variable. They're not comfortable with the variable. They're not used to all the gray area between what the yeast can do. It's an old farmhouse Norwegian ale.
I see.
That dates back probably older than the stuff we use.
So you're saying the predictability of nature can go, it can be a little fickle.
This used to be the yeast they used to roll in sticks and stir
Now-
the pot with
now-
it. And that's
Ian, if you could talk a little bit about the Kvik yeast, okay? Because there's always the saying among brewers that brewers make wort, yeast makes beer. So talk about the Kvik, because there's really a lot of different information on the temperatures, etc.
All right. Well, I mean, not to drag it out, but basically what used to happen is everything from Norway, wild air is, I guess, considered Kvik, right? So they used to spontaneously ferment all their beers with it, and they used to stir it with a stick. Eventually, all the yeast would adhere to that, right? But it was a big group, a family of different types of genus species of the same type of yeast. Now, what the the yeast cultivators or manufacturers like White Labs, they've learned to separate those into categories now. So they actually isolated those. So you can buy like the Voss strain or blends or there's tons. You could read about them. I don't want to go on and on about it, but it is one of the oldest strains of yeast known. But this is one of the yeasts that you actually can dry out into flakes and like keep it on a jar on the counter and just leave it till the next time you brew and just sprinkle some in there like goldfish food.
Wow.
And it re-inoculates. The thing about Kvik is it ferments so fast, nothing else lives in there but that. So people have made beer without temperature control. They'll make the beer in 5 to 7 days. So commercial end's a little bit different. We have to please the customers. The beer can't taste nasty. So obviously we do things on a professional end here. But we like using a nice historical product.
Really nice beer.
Yeah,
very nice,
very nice beer.
Really nice. We have one beer last. We can mention so many of your beers that we have here. I see Rio Bueno there. Tell us about Powder Keg. I love the name. And while I'm opening this
is for you,
Gary, where does Battle River come from? The name.
So, we derived it from, the town of Toms River, but the downtown part where we're located is the oldest and most historic area, and it was
You're not allergic to anything, are you?
a scene from a historic battle in the American Revolution. 1 block away is Huddy Park. If obviously you're familiar with Toms River, but for those that aren't familiar with it, Huddy Park is on the water. It was a key area for the American Revolution soldiers. They can transport food, the salt works, but they also protected Toms River. So Joshua Huddy was captured. He was brought up and hanged, and that almost set off the Abrams Accord. So there was a big battle here in Huddy Park. So we wanted to play off the historic and really large portion of the American Revolution that was downtown.
Do I even want to know the ABV on this thing?
So it's double digits, 10% Imperial Stout, aged in High West bourbon barrels.
We went hard. So not just bourbon, because Gary and I are bourbon heads, so we went with
High West, one of our favorite.
Went with nice bourbon barrels. So
Let's talk a little bit about bourbon and whiskey. I know that that's like one of your passions in addition to beer. We've talked about it a lot. In fact, I had mentioned to you both earlier that this weekend I had actually tried Conor McGregor's whiskey.
Proper 12.
Proper 12, which I think that's after the area code of Dublin. I think that's where Proper 12 comes from. It's not bourbon, but it is whiskey. So talk a little bit about how do you determine what's a good bourbon? We've talked about this a lot. We actually had a show with John and Don Husak from Manafurkin, as well as from our buddy.
We all drink a lot of bourbon together with all those guys.
So talk a little bit about.
It's similar to beer, right? You got the notes, the aroma, the aftertaste, the follow through. It all plays into it. You're really looking for the mash, and again, everyone has different palates. So I'm a corn majority mash versus a rye in my bourbon. So again, everyone has a little bit different, but it's the same thing as beer. You're looking for those notes. You're looking for for that aftertaste. You're looking for that the creaminess, everything.
Now, with the corn as opposed to the rye, would corn be a little sweeter, and rye gives a little bit of spice,
right?
Just like beer.
Exactly.
If you have a beer with rye in it, it's going to be a little bit spicier for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so really nice. This Powder Keg is
sensational,
excellent.
High West does a good job.
Yeah.
We did. This is our American Imperial Stout that we did. So a Russian Imperial Stout. No knocks on anyone that does Rizzes, I guess what they call it for short, the Russian Imperial Stouts. But this one was nice. We did it for all you have allergies out there. This does contain peanut powder in there because you can't put peanuts. It has to be powder.
I will tell you, I'm not a fan of the peanuts in beer, but it's really not that pronounced. It's very subtle. on
Well,
this.
it's balanced.
Yeah.
Some of
Very
the
subtle and
flavors we
balanced.
tried to get to take between the chocolate,
The peanut butter,
and the banana. So this, not just as a stout for being chocolate malt or roasted malt. So we actually had organic cacao nibs ground up in our grain mill. So I ran the cacao nibs through the grain mill and actually steeped. Actually did my mash with the grain and cacao nibs and with their.
So you use organic ingredients in your beer?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
all organic.
No, all organic.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last thing I want to mention, Gary, like I said, we're about 1 year here. So what are we going to have going on here, or what might we have going on?
Yeah, so we're gonna, obviously have some giveaways and celebration for our anniversary, but we're also gonna bring back a beer that I thought was one of our most fantastic beers last year as our 1 year anniversary beer. What we call our Super Maroon. It's a red IPA with wet hops. So we pick local hops. We use them within 24 hours and make a beautiful red IPA that is very tasty, very flavorful, and it just tastes really fresh.
It's a shame because we sell it so quick, and you're actually only able to enjoy this beer one time a year.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the beauty.
That's
of
the
it,
beauty
right?
of it.
Exactly. So we're going to wrap it up now. Gary, Battle River, where can everyone find you, social media, etc.?
Yeah, so our website, battleriverbrewing.com. Same social media handles on Facebook and Instagram, Battle River Brewing. You can certainly follow us, on all those, and it'll give you, all the locations of our beer. We're on premise at a lot of places, especially the Barrier Island here in Seaside Heights, but a lot of local bars and restaurants, as well as over 65 liquor stores across the state of New Jersey, and all that's on the website or on our social media handles.
Excellent. Gary, Ian, thank you so much. Richard, as always a pleasure having you with me.
Cheerio, buddy.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers,
And
always.
that's it for Vic's Basement Brewcast. You can find us Instagram, and please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, SouthJerseyBeerScene.com. A lot of great shows, this, Alexis Drinks, as well as other great programs. So with that, thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we will see you next time. Take care, all.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Awesome job, guys.
Awesome. Good job.